How's everybody doing today? Not the reaction I was expecting, so we'll give it one more try. How's everybody feeling today? That's better. So, welcome to our 24th annual International Women's Day event, presented by the Women in Niagara. In short, we call ourselves WIN, a business council of the Greater Niagara Chamber of Commerce. My name is Janet Madume. I am the member of the WIN Council. Before we dive into the celebration, let's go over a few housekeeping items. In the event of an emergency, please locate the nearest exit and follow the venue safety procedures. If there is a fire alarm, remain calm and proceed to the designated exit points. Washrooms are located through the first doors right here, then proceed to the left. We kindly ask that all phones be set to silent so we can truly and fully engage in today's celebration. But please feel free to use them and post your experience using hashtag IWD2025. If you need a space to reflect, contemplate, meditate, pray for simply take a breath, the quiet room is located out of these first doors again, down the hall and around the corner. And around the corner, you're going to take a right. If you need a mint, sewing kit, hairspray, or more, we have covered the bathrooms thanks to the Rest and Refresh sponsor, Niagara Pen Center. Let me take a moment to give a special shout out to the talented designer who created this beautiful outfit I have on today. I want to shout out today to Patience Bitondo. She's actually at the back. Her creativity and skill truly brought my look today, and I feel so special. Thank you, Patience. And by the way, I have to flag, she made it within a week. I don't know how she did it, but she got it done. Thank you again. We will now do our land acknowledgement. As we come together to celebrate International Women's Day, we take a moment to acknowledge that we are gathered on the traditional lands of the Anishinaabe, Anishinaabe, and the Mississaugas of the Credit First Nation. This land is part of the Dish with One Spoon, Wampum Belt Covenant, a reminder of our shared responsibility to take care of the land and each other in peace and with respect. Today, as we honor the strength, resilience, and achievements of women, especially Indigenous women, whose voices, leadership, and contributions have long shaped communities despite historical and ongoing challenges. We recognize the importance of reconciliation and equity. Let's use this day not only to celebrate, but to commit to uplifting and supporting all women, fostering inclusion, and ensuring that every voice is heard and valued. It is with immense pride and gratitude that I stand before you today as a member of the Women in Niagara Group, a council of the Greater Niagara Chamber of Commerce. It's an absolute pleasure, and I do recognize the incredible women that are here today that are going to be leading change, and some have already started leading that change, driving progress, and making a lasting impact in our community and beyond. Here in Niagara, we know that advancing gender equity isn't just about conversation. It's about commitment and action. Whether it's tackling the gender pay gap, increasing representation in leadership and governance, or amplifying the voices of women-owned businesses, today is about taking meaningful steps forward. A huge thank you to all of you for showing up today. I'm telling you, from up here, I can see it's a lot of people. So to all of the 500 plus of you, I really love to say thank you, not just for your support, but also for you being here in presence in action. We also have an incredible panel lined up featuring trailblazers who are redefining leadership and proving that change happens when we step up, when we speak out, and lift each other higher. So let's get ready to be inspired, engaged, and most importantly, let's commit to accelerating action, not just today, but every day. I would, I would like now to welcome Mishka Balsam to bring greetings on behalf of the Greater Chamber of Commerce. Mishka.
Thank you so very much, Janet. Janet Madume is the Executive Director at the Welland Heritage Council and Multicultural Center, and is going to be our MC today. So we're in incredible hands. I'm so glad that she has decided to take on that role today. I would like to say that on behalf of our board and my colleagues of the Greater Niagara Chamber of Commerce and the incredible WIN Council, welcome. My heartfelt thanks to each and every one of you for being with us today. Your presence here is a testament to the commitment we all share towards creating a more inclusive, a more equitable and thriving business community. And a loud and heartfelt shout out to the one and only Rochelle Bush, a champion dedicated on preserving, promoting and protecting Canada's rich Black history. Thank you for your unwavering dedication and for ensuring that the stories are not forgotten, but that the stories are being celebrated. We're proud to be here with you. When women share their stories, they ignite change. Every voice, every experience, and every struggle adds to the collective strength that actually moves us forward. Over the past few weeks, news headlines have been dominated by tariff and trade. It has created uncertainty, fear, and a lot of speculations about what tomorrow might look like. While this is on the one side of it, at the same time of it, we see how companies in all levels of government look for opportunities. They're looking at how can we diversify our businesses? How can we explore new markets? How can we remove interprovincial trade barriers, infrastructure investments that we can maybe make, and reducing red tape, shop local, and so much more. But there's one more opportunity, and that opportunity is women entrepreneurs, a significant untapped force in our economy. Compared to 20 years ago, only half as many people are launching businesses today, and less than 1 in 5 businesses is majority women-owned. As we redefine our economy, and we all do together, our policymakers reassess priorities. Please know that GNCC remains steadfast in our commitment to women by creating awareness of structural biases, restricted access to financing, sector-specific underrepresentation, all which have long hindered women's progress. These barriers are not just obstacles, they're opportunities for transformation. When women thrive, societies move forward, not in small steps, but in great strides. And from the energy in this room alone, it is clear that we are ready. Let us reshape the conversation and therewith redefine the narrative. Please know that the GNCC and WIN Council stand with you, fully committed to amplifying your perspective, your story, with our unwavering voice. Just imagine what we can do together. And on that note of together, this event could not be possible without the generous partnership and support that we have. I would like to acknowledge our co-presenters, the Niagara Region's Economic Development Department, as well as First Ontario Credit Union. And our sponsors, Pathstone Foundation, Canadian Tire Bank, Habitat for Humanity, Niagara, Niagara Peninsula Energy, Inc., Fred Cup Canada, Niagara Penn Center, DDL & Co. Chartered Professional Accountants, Outlet Collections of Niagara, the University of Niagara Falls, Hatch, TD Commercial Banking, Ontario Power Generation, Solomon Mahoney, Innovate Niagara, 13th Street Winery, BCM Insurance, Silversmith Brewing Company, Giant Shoe Creative Agency, Soundbox Productions, Sheraton Fallsview, UTV, News Talk 610 CKDB and 105.7 The Move. And yes, a round of applause for all of our partners. We also appreciate the presence and commitment of our dignitaries. With us today, we have MP for St. Catharines, Chris Biddle, Niagara Regional Chair, Jim Bradley, our regional councillors, Rob Foster, Diana Houston, Andrea Kaiser, Joyce Morocco, and city councillors, Mona Pantel and Jamila Sitaram. A round of applause for all that you do. And from our board, we have with us Colleen Smith, the First Ontario Performing Arts Centre. And to my colleagues, I just wanted to say a huge shout out to Karina, Hugo, Brad, Jordan, Amy, Elisa, Anne, and all of our volunteers for making it look so easy. So thank you for all that you do. And now I'm pleased to introduce Innovate Niagara, one of Ontario's 17 regional innovation centres dedicated to empowering entrepreneurs across diverse industries. Their work ensures that businesses receive structured support, tailored services, and access to vital resources and networks, a crucial part of advancing women entrepreneurs and business owners. Over to Innovate.
All great companies start as brilliant ideas. But while anyone can have a great idea, the trick is to discover how to plug it into the world and reveal its potential. But where do you begin? How do you move from idea to concept to greatness? The Innovate Niagara team can help. We offer the most comprehensive one-window approach to commercializing your idea into something more. Whether you're a graduating student, a fledgling startup, or an established business, Innovate Niagara provides the structure, services, and resources you need to get your new idea or business off the ground. We offer mentorship, market intelligence, tech incubation, workshops and events, and networking opportunities. We pair enterprises with academic and research support and provide guidance for accessing resources. Essentially, our lines reach out to all of what Ontario and Canada have to offer, and we've put it all in one place. We've done the legwork, all you need to do is plug in. Now, we know how difficult money is to come by in the early stages of your business, which is why our services are offered at little or no cost. Apply to be a client on our website for one-on-one consultation, and don't worry about being left on your own. Innovate Niagara is about building relationships and being accountable to you. We provide you with the structure for success and follow-up to ensure you stay connected. These are your ideas, and we think they're amazing. Connect with Innovate Niagara. Plug your ideas into the world.
My name is Christopher Dressage. I live in Brantford. I've been a FedCap and SOAR success story.
Historically, large employers have had challenges working with the Employment Ontario network because they need to talk to so many different providers in all these different communities. FedCap Canada delivers employment services in the Hamilton, Niagara, and Halton regions. We deliver these services through a network of community-based service providers. One of the goals of the Employer Services team is to provide one voice on behalf of the whole network so that an employer has a single point of contact in order to access the thousands of job seekers that we do have looking for work today in our community.
So I found myself let go from a job from 10 years. Unfortunately, the plant had closed down.
FedCap does a lot of work in local communities to support job seekers that traditionally might be further from the labor market. Our employer services team will be the experts on strategic sectors that are coming into our region. The goal is to work with large employers in our communities, especially those who are in emerging key sectors and are going to have large numbers of vacancies in the coming months and years ahead.
I was able to sit and reference through different type of job offers. But we ended up getting a response.
I'm Michelle Willette. I'm Administration and Materials Manager here at New Mesh in Brantford. It's really challenging to get the right people out there that are able to do the hard work day in and day out. The biggest challenge was trying to find the right candidate who understands the needs of the business here and someone that fits within our culture.
As I'm standing out at the front gate there, talking to the plant manager, I'm like, I will never let you down. And as that's happening, the wind's blowing and a tear is coming down my eye. He's extended his hand and said, welcome aboard. Here's an opportunity. And I have never, ever let this company down.
FedCap has helped us find a great employee. He works hard, he's dedicated, always on time. If I can get 20 more from FedCap of what we've already received, I would take them today.
The opportunity to work with FedCap is only going to really enlighten your life. There is a very friendly atmosphere where you're not secluded, you're not categorized, you're not put in with a herd. You're there as an individual. I, with all my ambition, would highly recommend FedCap. If you're looking to make a positive in your life, this is where to start.
I would now like to welcome to the stage the chair of the Women in Niagara Council, Nora Kolb. Nora.
Thank you, Janet, and thank you for being MC this year. I can relax and have a glass of wine this year with lunch, so it's fantastic. It is my pleasure to share some updates on behalf of Women in Niagara. 2025 is already shaping up to be an exciting and dynamic year for our council as we continue to champion the voices of women in our business community. As a volunteer advisory council to the GNCC, WIN remains dedicated to advocacy, collaboration, and the creation of valuable resources and events that support and uplift women in Niagara. I'd like to take this opportunity to introduce the dedicated members of the WIN Council who work tirelessly to drive our mission forward. We have Jamie Giles, TD Business Banking, Marina Glencross, S&G HR Consulting, Carolyn Mullen from Niagara College, Brandy Fulton, Abatement Technologies and Ravine Estate Winery, Erin Hagar, Siemens Healthcare Limited, Janet Madume, Welland Heritage Council and Multicultural Center Employment Solutions, Kristen Smith from Trilogen Technologies, Harley Barf Connect Zuber, Iron and Oak Railroad Services, Stephanie Benaza, Electra Utilities, Kara Kresick, the Talent Strategy Creative and the Apiary, Lori McDonald's Provisions Food Company, Laura McLeod, Export Development Canada, Gina Shafrick, These Architects, Inc., Colleen Smith from First Performing Arts Center, who's our board liaison, and of course, certainly not in the least at all, we have last Karina Massicott, our dedicated GNCC staff liaison. So thank you, everyone. Now, I'd also like to take some time to really thank volunteers. It takes a dedicated team to make our events and initiatives possible. As you can imagine, setting this amazing event up. I would like to extend a heartfelt thank you to our incredible volunteers. Cassie Inez, Harley Barf Connect Zuber, Stephanie Benaza, Agnes Chow, Karen Chow, Ellen Cuito, Rose Donatelli, Brandy Fulton, Marina Glencross, Amanda Napper, Lillian Lumbaugh, Lori McDonald, Mary Marino, Sandy Page, Stephen Pitcanon, Gina Shafrick, Kristen Smith, Sandra Stokes, Vanessa Sweet, and Suzanne Veenstra. Thank you. At WIN, our mission is clear: to foster the growth and success of women in business across Niagara. Our vision is to empower women to thrive, ensuring they can reach their full economic and social potential. To achieve this, we provide programs that encourage leadership, development, and community support. We've had an incredible year so far, hosting Winspirational Women events featuring remarkable women like Chandra Sharma, who spoke on environmental initiatives, and Sue Ann Staff, who shared insights on shifts in alcohol culture, tourism trends, and her ambitious plans for benchland wineries. That event, held at the post office by Shannon Passero, was a full circle moment. Sue Ann was one of the first recipients of the Women in Business grant that Shannon established, and she was also one of the first inspirational speakers that we had. Our Women in Business Awards remains one of our most impactful events, celebrating the outstanding contributions of women in Niagara. Last year's event was our most diverse yet, with 121 nominees and 68 finalists. We are proud to spotlight the talent, leadership, and dedication of women across all industries. Nominations for this year's awards will open this spring. Another key initiative is our WIN Bursary for Leadership Niagara, which provides women with opportunities to enhance their leadership skills. This year's recipient, Mandy Cavison, shared how this program strengthened her confidence and leadership abilities. She said, "I am grateful for the support of the WIN Council and Leadership Niagara for giving me the opportunity to develop as a leader who can create positive change in our community." Your support of our silent auction directly helps fund this bursary, ensuring we can continue to uplift future leaders, so make sure you get your bids in at lunch. We've also been working in partnership with Next Niagara, GNCC's advisory council that empowers young professionals by representing, engaging, and amplifying the voice of Niagara's 40 and under community. We recently partnered on an event to increase young people and women's representation on boards, providing them with the knowledge and tools to take on leadership roles. True progress requires us to apply an intersectional lens to policies and practices, ensuring diverse voices are heard at every level of decision-making. On Monday of this week, I had the honor of attending a flag-raising ceremony led by Ruth Unruh, WIN's founder. Yeah. Ruth reminded us of a powerful truth. Change isn't a waiting game, it's something we create together, starting now. So that sentiment aligns perfectly with this year's International Women's Day theme, Accelerate Action. It challenges us to move beyond conversations and push for real, tangible change. That's why WIN is taking bold steps, building on the initiatives I've mentioned, and forging new partnerships to drive meaningful change. We look forward to collaborating with Equal Voice to encourage more women to run for office and to support those already stepping up to lead as Niagara enters a new chapter. At the same time, we will continue to champion the many incredible organizations in our region working towards gender equality. With everything happening in the world today, it can sometimes be difficult to envision a brighter future. But that's exactly why we must stay committed to progress, to momentum, and to action. I'm excited to hear from our panel today on how we can further accelerate change. Thank you all for being here, for your support, and for your dedication to advancing women in Niagara. Together, we are building a future where every woman can thrive. Thank you.
Thank you, Nora. In many of our conversations with women in the business community, a recurring topic is the ongoing challenge of mental health. This brings me to our next speaker. Please join me in welcoming Marla Smith from Pathstone Foundation.
Good afternoon. Today we gather to celebrate the strength, resilience, and leadership of women. We celebrate the women who have lifted each other up, who mentor, who invest in others, not just their time or their wisdom, but their beliefs. Their belief that when one of us rises, we all rise. At Pathstone Mental Health, we see firsthand the power of that support. Mental well-being is the foundation of confidence, of resilience, and the ability to lead and inspire. When we feel seen, heard, and valued, we thrive, not just as individuals, but as a community. I want to take a moment and ask you to reflect. Think of a woman in your life who has shaped your journey, a friend, a mentor, a colleague, someone who believed in you, maybe when you didn't even believe in yourself. Someone who led with kindness, who advocated for you, who saw the potential in you. These women didn't just pave a way forward, they reached back to pull others forward. Now I challenge you, reach out to that person today. Tell them how important their impact in your life was, and let them know that you are able to move forward because of the support they have given you. As you do so, I also ask you to consider, how can you be that person for someone else? Who in your life needs encouragement? Who could benefit from your wisdom or your support, your belief in them? Because when the work of building each other up never stops, it's how we strengthen not only our individuals, but our community. That's what we do at Pathstone. We make sure no one, especially children and youth, feels alone in their struggles. We create spaces where young girls can grow up knowing they are strong, capable, and supported, where they don't have to fight silent battles because they have people in their corner cheering them on. But our work is not done. There are still too many women and children who feel unheard, who struggle in silence, who carry burdens alone. That's why today it's not just about celebration. It's also a call to action, a call to continue fostering a culture of care, connection, and support. So as we celebrate International Women's Day, let's commit to lifting as we climb, to being the mentors, the advocates, and the champion the next generation deserves. Because when we empower women, we empower entire communities. Happy International Women's Day, and thank you on behalf of Pathstone Foundation.
I have to change this, Mala. I didn't realize I have to make a shift. Yeah. Thank you so much, Mala. We now arrive at a momentous occasion in our gathering. The presentation of the International Women's Day Award. Each year, we present an award to a woman in Niagara who captures the spirit of our values, who is innovative, groundbreaking, and brings a voice to issues that advance our community. Please welcome back WIN Council Chair Nora Cobb and Niagara Regional Councillor Andrea Kaiser to present this year's award on behalf of the WIN and our core title sponsor, Niagara Region Economic Development.
Fireball. Thank you for having me. Good afternoon. On behalf of Regional Chair Jim Bradley, Regional Council and Niagara Economic Development, it is truly an honor to be with all of you today to celebrate International Women's Day in Niagara. The day serves as an important reminder of the extraordinary achievements of women around the world and in our own communities. It invites us to reflect on the progress made, the barriers that remain, and our renewed commitment to break them down. Women continue to drive innovation, lead businesses, and shape our communities in ways that inspire us all. The theme for this year's International Women's Days, Accelerate Action, is not just a slogan, but a call to action. It underscores the reality that true change requires collective effort and purposeful action to dismantle the barriers women face. In Niagara, we are proud to be a part of this global movement. By supporting women in business, advocating for inclusivity, and fostering opportunities for all, we are driving meaningful change within our community. Niagara Region Economic Development is honored to once again co-title sponsor the GNCC International Women's Day event. I am deeply inspired by all of you, the female leaders who are building a culture of equality and empowerment within our business community. A speech by Andrea Kaiser would not be a speech by Andrea Kaiser unless there was a personal note off script. I just wanted to add that personally there was a time when I didn't really understand and comprehend the importance of International Women's Days. And I think it's important to note that. I was raised to believe that I could do anything. And I was one of the very fortunate people who grew up in a household where that was the way that that my family and my mother and father raised me to believe. But later in life, I realized that was not the case for everyone. And as my career, my role in politics and business has evolved, it was through some personal campaigns and some personal mentorship of women in politics that really changed the lens from where I looked, and to see that there were so many women around who wanted to help to lift me up and support me. And so it gave me some insight into understanding the importance and understanding that I also have a role to play in providing leadership, support, and mentorship in women in both politics and business. So it is a great pleasure for me to be here today, standing with a better understanding of the importance of what this day means to all of us and how we need to lift each other up. So thank you for that and for including me in this. And then we'll continue. It is also my distinct privilege to present this year's International Women's Days Award to a very extraordinary woman, Rochelle Bush.
Rochelle is a proud descendant of freedom seekers and was born and raised in St. Catharines, Ontario. Her deep-rooted connection to the community is exemplified by her maternal great-great-grandfather, who served as the minister in charge of Salem Chapel during the time when Harriet Tubman was an active member.
For over 25 years, Rochelle has dedicated herself to preserving, promoting, and protecting Canada's rich Black history. She played a pivotal role in shaping the early Black history narrative and government tourism initiatives in St. Catharines and the Niagara region. Her passion led to establish Tubman Tours Canada, where she serves as the owner and primary guide, offering immersive experiences that showcase Niagara's Freedom Trail and highlight Harriet Tubman's time in St. Catharines.
Rochelle's commitment extends beyond her tours. She is a trustee and the resident historian of Salem Chapel, a National Historic Site, and is a certified Niagara Tourism Ambassador. Her leadership has been instrumental in many important initiatives documenting and narrating Canada's Black history, including the development of the 2017 Niagara Parks Crossing into Canada interpretive panels, which commemorate Harriet Tubman's courageous journey. In 2021, she spearheaded the renaming of a public park in St. Catharines to honor Richard Pierpoint, the city's first Black settler and a War of 1812 veteran. Additionally, she co-curated the award-winning 2023 exhibition, Bound and Determined, Chloe Cooley, Enslavement and the Fight for Freedom at the Niagara-on-the-Lake Museum.
If you have ever seen Rochelle speak, you know the passion and enthusiasm she brings to her presentations and her tours. She has an incredible ability to recall dates and people, making history come alive for her audiences. Her dedication to continuous research is evident as she plans to launch new information this year on 4 more abolitionists from Niagara, further enriching our understanding of the region's history.
Rochelle's work aligns seamlessly with the core values of WIN. Her courageous efforts to preserve Black history and advocate for equality exemplify bravery. Her collaborative spirit is evident in her partnerships with local organizations to amplify her impact. She demonstrates respect by actively listening to diverse perspectives and creating an inclusive environment. Her transparency and commitment to sharing information openly ensure that the rich history of Niagara's Black community is accessible to all.
The purpose of history is not only to accurately document the past, but also to draw lessons for the present. Rochelle's work ensures that the legacies of Harriet Tubman and other freedom seekers are neither forgotten nor erased. Her efforts contribute to a more inclusive, respectful, and just community, embodying the mission of WIN to empower and champion women in Niagara.
Her unwavering dedication to preserving Black history, her leadership, and her commitment to community advancement make her a truly deserving honoree. Please join us in congratulating the recipient of the 2025 International Women's Day Award, Rochelle Bush.
And we'll rise up. I like the waves. We'll rise up. In spite of the ache, we'll rise up. And we'll do it 1,000 times again.
Thank you so much for the kind words and the wonderful introduction. Good morning, good afternoon, everyone. At this moment, I will express the same sentiment as millions around the world have before me. I'm humbled. I was asked, what does empowerment mean to me? As you know, I replied, knowing and feeling that I am seen and heard. If I was asked that at the start of the year, not knowing about this award, I probably would have said, empowerment to me means having the freedom to make my own decisions and expressing my thoughts. Today, in this moment, on the 50th anniversary of International Women's Day, I feel empowered because I know that I am seen and heard. When I was notified about the International Women's Day Award and read that I was the 2025 recipient because of my dedication to preserving and sharing the history of freedom seekers through my tour company, Tubman Tours Canada, and my impactful contributions to our community, I was blown away. I couldn't believe they were referencing me, talking about me. I cannot thank the Greater Niagara Chamber of Commerce and the women in Niagara enough for the recognition. I am truly grateful because in my head, I doubted that you even knew about me or my small business. And that is the truth. You never think anybody is paying attention. So this has been a long journey for me, and I need to acknowledge those who helped me along the way. First, Niagara College for the small business plan and the guidance. Guidance was provided to me over a 5-year period, and when SARS hit in 2003, my professor instructor at the time, Steve Stunt, said, "Don't give up, keep going." He pretty much said it would pass. It was an inspiration to me, and I kept going. I also want to thank members of the Historical Society of St. Catharines, the St. Catharines Heritage Committee, the Niagara branch of the Ontario Genealogical Society, also known as Ontario Ancestors, staff at the local museums, libraries, public researchers and historians, and heritage enthusiasts. Many have contributed in a small way and some in larger ways with the development of my tour company. So, for example, when taking one individual around downtown St. Catharines, I was pointing out, how I celebrate Mr. Merritt and how I showcase CKTV and then along St. Paul Street. And I was told, stop the car, pull over. What about the rock pile? That's where the town started. And it's like, oh my goodness, because you can't think of everything. So now, of course, that is incorporated where Shipman's Corners began, where the 12 began. So to all those people, I have to say thank you. I also want to thank my loved ones who have passed away, such as my mother. She can't be here to celebrate with me, or my Uncle Harry, longest standing member in the Salem Chapel ever, and my niece, my beloved niece Donna, who's passed away. The three of them I would talk to almost on a daily basis and just share the history with them. And of course, with my niece and my uncle, we'd get in the car and we'd venture around Niagara, Ontario, and parts of Western New York, just so I could add to the history. Most of all, I have to thank my dead ancestors, because if it wasn't for them, I wouldn't even have a job. I wouldn't have a tour company. I have to thank my dead ancestors for their greatness and all that they achieved, and for crossing the mighty Niagara River to settle here in Niagara. I decided to start my company because St. Catharines was in third place when the Freedom Trail developed. Fort Erie was first, then came Niagara Falls, and that annoyed me. They were reaping the financial benefits. But what about St. Catharines? That was the legit terminus. So that's what made me begin the journey of starting the tour company, so that I could bring tour groups to St. Catharines first, and then showcase Niagara on the Lake, Niagara Falls, and other parts of Niagara. So I flipped it around to make certain that St. Catharines was number one. I created the Harriet Tubman Tour to enhance the Freedom Trail and to focus on the years the legendary Underground Railroad conductor spent in St. Catharines. It became her base of operations. So why shouldn't she have more of a voice in the Niagara Freedom Trail Tour? Tubman is only one of 3 extraordinary women that I celebrate when I'm taking visitor groups around Niagara. Of course, I mentioned the great Chloe Cooley, who I had no idea that the Chloe Cooley incident took place in Niagara until I was much older. I was in my teens. I thought the act to limit slavery took place somewhere else in Ontario. I didn't think it was in my own backyard. So Chloe Cooley changed the trajectory of enslavement, as we all know, and it was a global change. Nobody knows what happened to Chloe Cooley, which is unfortunate, but her greatness, again, cannot be overstated, because if it wasn't for her and Lieutenant Governor John Grier Simcoe, slavery, the first piece of British legislation, would not have taken place in Canada. Tubman, of course, is the highlight. She's the namesake. But as my journey continued, I felt that there wasn't enough for me to tell. Black history was the primary focus, but then there were others, such as the great Laura Secord. How could I travel along the Parkway and even make it to Queenston Heights without acknowledging Laura Secord and her greatness? Because if it wasn't for her, I wouldn't be standing here as a Canadian today. She knew Richard Pierpoint. And when she informed the British that the Americans were coming, what did these black men do who were black loyalists? They took up arms to defend their homeland, but more importantly, to defend their freedom. Pierpoint was a 68-year-old man when he did that. So I am proud to let you know that as I guide visitor groups around, 3 mighty women are discussed and nobody's forgotten. When we start off at Queenston Heights, stop number 1 before we even get to Brock's Monument is Laura Secord Monument. So everybody knows who she was. We even pass her little homestead. Now the question is, why would you celebrate Laura Secord? She's a white woman. No, Laura Secord was a great Canadian, and if it wasn't for her, what would have happened to black people who were living in this area? I also incorporated another story because there's so much history, and we know that history is a shared history, and that's the story of the white loyalists along with the Confederates. Their story is equally important, and it's thrilling. I'll give you another example. I always understood that Senator James Mason was the individual who, in 1850, argued about the Fugitive Slave Act, that act that brought Harriet Tubman here to Canada. What I didn't know until a couple of years later was that he actually sought refuge here in Niagara-on-the-Lake. And when I put two and two together to think, oh my goodness, this man who introduced the 1850 Fugitive Slave Act had to find shelter on British soil to secure his safety and freedom so he wasn't incarcerated, blew me away. That is important Black history to me, and that's why I incorporated it into the tours. I could go on, I'm a talker, but I'm not. God willing, I hope to continue preserving and building upon Niagara's Freedom Trail for future generations. Niagara's Freedom Trail is the first of its kind in this country, and most likely one of the top 5 to ever be developed in North America. I enjoy sharing our local history with visitor groups because in Niagara we have a treasured history that's not celebrated enough. As I said earlier, I am grateful for this award. I dedicate it to my late maternal grandmother, Ethel May Flowers Harper Smith, who was born in Fort Erie. And she advised me at a young age to always put women first. My grandmother told me that if there's a woman on the ballot, you vote for her no matter what. Even if you don't like her or what she stands for, you vote for her. You vote for her because she has courage. She believes she is equal. She believes she is equal to and can take on the men who are at that table. She's fearless. And most of all, she wants a better place in society for women. And that's why you vote for her. Happy International Women's Day to all of you. As a practicing Christian, I must give all glory to God. Thank you so much. Oh, thank you. Oh, thank you so much.
One more round of applause. I need everybody to get up, please.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
To the great Rochelle. We're so proud. And yes, Rochelle, we do pay attention. Thank you. Thank you. Again, congratulations. I just wanted to introduce the gift you see up here. So as a heartfelt tribute to your incredible achievements, we are honored to present you with this beautifully crafted pottery piece, and it has been created by Queenstone Pottery, a cherished Niagara business founded in 1978. Isn't that awesome?
It is.
I was still a baby. By Eva and Frank Malchek, this artwork carries a legacy of dedication and craftsmanship. At 81 years young, Eva continues to hand paint each piece with care, while her son and daughter-in-law are stepping in to guide the business into its next chapter. We hope this gift serves as a lasting reminder of our community's deep appreciation and admiration for all that you do in the community. Thank you so much, Rochelle.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Now, please welcome Josie Agra to bring greetings on behalf of Canadian Tire Bank.
Good afternoon. That song is way too spicy for me. Good afternoon. As they said, my name is Josie Agro, and it is my pleasure to be here today. And on behalf of Canadian Tire Bank, we are thrilled to be one of the sponsors of this important event. So an event that really highlights the achievements and the contributions of the women in the community and beyond. And at Canadian Tire Bank, we truly believe and we invest in programs that bring diversity, equity, and inclusion. And we think it's important to be a part of our positive workplace environment. I'm happy to be here today with some women from our team as well as some male allies to celebrate this event. And we've been fortunate this week. We also had an International Women's Day where we got to hear from women within our own four walls, hear their stories, but more importantly, hear about how they impact the community that we live and work in. On a personal note, I grew up in Niagara-on-the-Lake, immersed in the hospitality industry. And when I think back about that childhood and what it was different than it was today in terms of gender equity. There was not a lot of women in leadership, nor was it really encouraged. So fast forward to today, it's so much better than it was. There's women in leadership in many different sectors, but in addition to that, there's a lot of different diverse perspectives at the tables and conversations of many businesses, and it's something to be celebrated. There's still a lot of work to be done, but we're making progress. And this event, this day, is a perfect example or a reminder of why we need to continue to do these things and celebrate women like Rochelle. Congratulations on your award, and thank you for sharing your story in your speech. These events are important, and we are very happy to be a sponsor of it. Now, I know I'm standing between you and lunch, so I will keep it brief when I say Happy International Women's Day to everyone in this room, and enjoy the rest of the event. That's all. Thanks.
Thank you so much, Josie. And it's now time that you've been waiting for. It's time to fill our stomachs up. It's lunchtime. But just as a reminder, the silent auction, please visit those tables outside, and also the photo booth is open, and there are also vendors at the back. We'll see you in 45 minutes. Thank you. Welcome back. I hope you all had a great time at the photo booth and had the chance to explore all the vendors at the back. If you haven't, I encourage you to do so. So one of the pressing challenges we've had from women in Niagara is the need for attainable housing, a fundamental necessity that impacts every aspect of life. To speak more on this important issue, please join me in welcoming Sarah Pritula from Habitat for Humanity and past WIN Council member.
Good afternoon, everyone. Today, as we celebrate International Women's Day, we embrace the theme Accelerate Action, a call to move beyond conversations and take real, tangible steps toward change. At Habitat for Humanity Niagara, we see firsthand how stable, safe, and affordable housing transforms lives, especially for women. Last year, in 2024, we dedicated 7 homes, and out of those 7 homes, 5 of them were independent moms. They partnered with us to take control of their futures. They worked tirelessly balancing jobs, families, and their challenges. Yet they showed up to build their own home, literally laying the foundation for a better future. They refused to let barriers define them, and because of that, today they're homeowners. Their children have stability, and their futures are brighter. But it's not just about the homes or the families. It's about the ripple effect. Did you know that for every Habitat home we build, there's a $200,000 impact that goes back into the local economy? That means less reliance on social services, more financial independence, and stronger communities. It means that women can focus on careers instead of constant uncertainty. Children can grow up in a safe environment, and families can break cycles of instability. This is what happens when we accelerate action. We create change that lasts for generations, and the truth is we can't wait for other people to do it. It starts with us, and it starts today. So today, I challenge all of you, what action will you take? Will you volunteer? Will you advocate? Will you mentor? Or will you support women in your own circles? Because each of us has the power to drive change. Because when women succeed, we all succeed. Let's continue to build a world where every woman has a place to call home. Let's accelerate action together. Thank you on behalf of Habitat for Humanity.
Thank you, Sarah. We are thankful to have the support of First Ontario Credit Union on this event as core title sponsor. Please welcome Christine Sousa to introduce our esteemed panel.
Thank you very much. I'm pleased to be representing First Ontario Credit Union today as we recognize the importance of advocating for gender equality. First Ontario has been part of the community, providing financial services across Southern Ontario for over 85 years, and we continue to invest in connecting our communities so they can grow and thrive, with women taking the lead, of course. So I'm pleased to introduce our incredible panelists today, leaders who are driving change in gender equity, leadership, and economic empowerment. Each of them brings a wealth of experience and a passion for advancing opportunities for women and gender diverse people. Let's welcome them to the stage. First, Diana Hewson. She is a regional councillor for the town of Pelham and also founder and co-chair of Equal Voice Niagara, advocating for gender equity in politics. First elected in 2018, she became the first woman to both run and hold her seat. Diana is a champion for economic development, social policy, and inclusive governance. She served as chair of the region's Women's Advisory Committee, the Planning and Economic Development Committee, vice chair for the Ontario Caucus, and other leadership roles with the Federation of Canadian Municipalities, always working to increase women's participation in government. Next is Dana Dignard. She's the National Director of Communications at YWCA Canada, bringing 20 years of experience in marketing, communications, and inclusion initiatives in both nonprofit and corporate sectors. She has led national human rights campaigns, gender equity programs, and crisis intervention efforts, and previously held senior leadership roles at GS1 Canada and We Charity. Dana's work has spanned social impact, sustainability, and women's entrepreneurship across Canada and internationally. Karen Campbell. She is the Vice President of Community Initiatives at the Canadian Women's Foundation, where she leads national efforts to advance gender equity, economic security, and youth leadership. With over a decade of experience in feminist philanthropy, policy advocacy, and grassroots leadership, Karen is a champion for systemic change and intersectional approaches to tackling gender-based issues. And finally, Kara Krezik, the Chief Purpose Officer and founder of her own leadership consultancy, Talent Strategy Collective, and a collaborative co-working space, The Apiary, who has a space at the end of our venue here. Hopefully you have a chance to visit that. She has a master in leadership, and she specializes in helping individuals and organizations activate their why, build strong teams, and lead with impact. Kara has held transformative leadership roles in higher education and nonprofits with a focus on work integrated learning and professional development. This is our panel for today. Kara, over to you.
Good afternoon, everybody. Happy International Women's Day. It is amazing to be here with all of you. Today, we are talking about accelerating action, and we are going to start the panel with asking you to take some action. I don't know if you know this, but Google as well as Apple, has quietly removed International Women's Day from their calendar. Wow. If you look at your phones, I'd love everybody to take out their phones right now and see if tomorrow, which is actual International Women's Day internationally, to see if you see it on your phone. I then ask you to add it back in so that you will remember next year, the year after, and for all the years to come, that no matter who removes it, that it continues to be in our calendars so we don't forget. I'm going to give you a quick moment to do that as we get set up here. And use your voice where you can. Tell other people to add it. And where's BlackBerry when we need them? The rollerball. All right. Today we're here to focus on action, and each of you has been a champion for gender equality in different ways. Can you share what drives your passion for this work and what future of true gender equity looks like? I'll start with you, Karen.
Thanks so much, Kara. It's so wonderful to be in this room today with everyone. Seeing so many of your faces here is really energizing. So I'm really grateful to be invited to join this panel with you all today. At the Canadian Women's Foundation, where I work, we talk about gender equality and what we're looking to achieve. And what we're trying to achieve is a future where every woman, girl, and gender diverse person has the power, safety, support, and rights to thrive today and tomorrow. And I suppose for me, and like many of us in this room, my passion for this work really comes from my own lived experience and from the lived experiences of the women and gender diverse people who are in my life and who have shaped my life over the years. I've seen again and again how experiences of discrimination are woven into our everyday lives and how gender shapes opportunities, how it shapes our access to safety, and how it shapes our access to power in this life. And how all of the barriers that we talk about are really that much more compounded for women and gender diverse people who are Black, who are Indigenous, who are racialized, who live with disabilities, who belong to the 2S LGBTQIA plus community, basically anybody who falls out of that cis white masculine body norm. And I personally refuse to accept that these experiences are just the way that things are or that they are inevitable in any way. The world that we are in was built on systems that exclude too many of us. And those happen to be systems that are human made. And we're actually watching in real time how those systems are being reworked and reshaped, and the lines are being redrawn in ways that I'm sure many of us find quite destabilizing and quite frightening. But I'd like us to remember that in this moment of uncertainty, it demonstrates that things are not static and change is always happening. And that means that we actually do have the power to shape our future. And so that's the belief that fuels my passion and my work. The certainty really that I have that change is not just possible, but that it's necessary. And I believe that when we fight for gender justice, we're not just improving individual lives, but we're laying the groundwork for the kind of change that we need. We're reshaping our communities and our collective future. So that's what drives me. Thanks, Karen. Over to you, Dana.
Yes, hello everyone. Hi everyone. Thank you to our hosts for having us here today in this celebration. And my name is Dana, and I'm pleased to represent YWCA Canada. My own personal passion for gender equity started from a very young age when I remember being perplexed about why so much of our world defaulted to male. You know, so many books I was reading and television shows and movies I was watching had male protagonists. And so that early observation planted a seed for something that grew much stronger for me. And it was when I had a summer job actually at Women's Place in Welland, where I grew up. I don't know if everyone's familiar with Women's Place, but it was a shelter for women and children experiencing domestic violence. And part of my role was to sit in on the intake sessions when women and their children would come into the shelter and transcribe the stories and the circumstances under which they found themselves there. And I remember, my hand shaking as I was writing these stories down, stories of trauma and abuse and just heartbreaking accounts of what they had experienced at the hands of their partners. So my passion comes from a sense of responsibility that I have to take any opportunity or privilege to help make a difference. And that's why I work with Canada's oldest and largest women's equity organization, YWCA Canada. And our vision and my vision for gender equity is actually a world where those shelters, the one I worked at, the one YWCA operates across Canada, they don't exist because the systemic violence that perpetuates the need for those shelters doesn't exist. And it means the pay gap is closed and women are in leadership and women are equal and respected in all venues, whether that's in the workplace, in politics, and at home. But most of all, and I think I heard our award recipient express this same sentiment, it means freedom to choose for ourselves, for our bodies and identities and our lives.
Absolutely. Thank you. An impactful story and way to get engaged. I can picture your hand shaking as you're writing those down. Thank you for sharing that. Yeah, that's very impactful. Over to you, Diana.
Thank you, Kara, and thank you for having me. It's quite an honor and a privilege to be here. I can reflect more, obviously, on the political experience, but in my bio, it was mentioned that I was first elected in 2018, and I became the first woman to run and hold the position. I was quite shocked to learn we had never had a female candidate before, and I think it made me realize very quickly that maybe we weren't quite as ahead as I was expecting us to be or thought we had been. And that certainly became true as I stepped into the municipal political space in Niagara. And I also learned very quickly that I was often the only woman in the room, or I was one of very few women in the room. And for me, government policies and programs directly affect the lives of everyone. If we don't have women at the table, then we can't incorporate their experiences or their unique circumstances into decision making. And if women aren't able to articulate their needs and their interests, as well as their vision for society, and shape those decisions that affect their lives, then we're not only suffering from a moral wrong because expectation about women and men's roles in society is a social construction. But we also risk holding ourselves back economically because women's ability to fully participate also affects their economic ability as well. So for me, true gender equity is about empowerment. It's about representation. It's about economic equality and a place where women are able to step into those roles that really enable them to contribute and make decisions over themselves.
Thank you. Thanks, Diana. It's funny you talk about this around not realizing that this is the true reality. It makes me think of Ruth. I don't know where you are out there. There you are. When Ruth talked, she was on the radio and she talked about, we talk about women's equality and that there's people out there rolling their eyes. And that really kind of sat with me because it is, I think also sometimes we are just, even as women, as we're growing up, we think that like it's not that bad, and then your eyes start to open more and more as you experience more. And Karen, you talked about that lived experience. When I opened up the apiary, which is a female-focused co-working space, I said, I wonder how long it's going to take before someone says, well, what if I opened a male co-working space? Literally took a day. And I said, that's the country club. So, but it really does, as we have more experiences as women, it shows us how much we still have to, how much more we still have to go. And that was one of my passions, was when I had my daughter, who is here with me today, is she's going to love me for that, is I never want her to have to experience the things that I've experienced as a woman. So I just wanted to reiterate that point, that you don't know until you kind of experience it. I'm going to bring it back to you, Diana. Women remain underrepresented in politics, but we're here to focus on action. So what are some of the proven strategies that help more women get into political leadership, and how can we build stronger pipelines to elected office?
Thanks for that question. So, I mean, it's certainly true. If you look at the numbers, about 30% of elected representatives are women across different levels of government. If you look at mayors specifically, only 22%. We can drop that number. If you look at councils that have actually achieved gender parity, it's 16%. It's really quite low. So, I think inclusion is a matter of justice and a key factor in creating more effective governance, because the more representative government is, the more effective and efficient its policies and programs are. So having women involved has led to great advancements in terms of crucial issues like healthcare, childcare, education, infrastructure, and of course, ending violence against women. And I think that we can also provide that to inspire the next generation of young women to really envision these as careers that are potential for them. So I think some of the key things we can do is supporting organizations like, and I'm gonna pick on my new organization, Equal Voice. We have a Niagara chapter. It's an organization that is really trying to bring attention to the need for more women's representation in politics across the board, and it's nonpartisan. Having opportunities for leadership and training so that women can dispel the confusion around what does it mean to be an elected official, how do I get support, what kind of skills do I need, what kind of team do I need to help me really introduce myself into a political space. And I think as women who have been successful, mentorship opportunities, and whether that's formal, where you're regularly meeting with someone, or informal, just being available to take a phone call, offer some words of encouragement or advice. Those are really important activities. But I think first and foremost, we always talk about the need for thick skin and how at times toxic and difficult politics can be, but I don't think we should let the negative aspect of politics overshadow the positive aspect of politics, because what I can tell you about being an elected official in Niagara is this is a fantastic job. It has led to significant personal and professional growth, and the ability to impact your community is amazing. So, ladies, please think about it. We need more women in politics, and hoping that we sign a couple more people up after this talk.
Thank you. Perfect. With that, I'm going to ask anybody here, if you're brave enough, have you ever, any women in the audience, ever thought about running for political office? Put up your hand. There's one. All right, we need more and more hands to go up. And if you are interested, please connect with Diana around Equal Voice. And then I'm going to ask another question. Who in the audience here knows somebody that they think would be a woman that would be fabulous in political office? Put up your hand if you know that person. Okay, I'm going to ask you, as you take action, to tell that person that they would be fabulous. Because sometimes it only takes one person to tell somebody how great they would be, and then they can get rid of their own imposter thoughts and actually jump in. So you're going to tell that person, and then they're going to connect in with Diana.
All right. Or follow us on any social media.
Yes, and follow on social media. Yes. Dana, over to you. We know representation matters. From your experience, how does seeing more women in leadership, whether in politics, business, or community organizations, impact broader social change?
Thank you. There is a lot of evidence and studies to show that when women are in leadership positions, everyone benefits. At a corporate level, we see that when women are in leadership, there's improved productivity and collaboration and even company loyalty. And that was certainly my experience in my last role, where the CEO was a woman, the CEO and president was a woman. And that was unlike anything that I had experienced in my career up until that point. And the difference was the culture, the lines of communication were open. There was a clear path to advancement, and there was the sense that everyone's voices matter, including my own. And that's really what kept me in that role in that company for 10 years. But outside of the impact on the culture and the productivity and things that I've mentioned, there's also a lot of evidence, the McKinsey and Company study in particular, to show that when women are in executive leadership positions, the companies perform better financially. And so we know it's good for fairness, and we know it's good for business, and we know it's good for economies. So we should be doing it. And if we zoom out for a second, and look at the state of the world right now and the political turmoil and the environmental devastation and the health crisis and so many things, we're not exactly thriving in the status quo. So we know for sure that when women are involved in those decisions, everyone benefits, and we all deserve to live in a world that is healthier and more fair and more inclusive than the one we're living in today.
That's great. Thank you. As I think about this too, is the more that we can get women into leadership positions. And again, I'm really looking at the audience interaction here, so I'm going to get you to put up your hands again, because it is about action. Who here in the audience is a female leader who is willing to mentor other females into leadership positions? Put your hands up. All right. So I want you to look around the room. If you are looking for a mentor to help you get into leadership roles, reach out. So again, put your hands up for all of you that are willing. Amazing. Find that person after and have a conversation with them. Thank you. Okay, over to you, Karen.
All right.
The Canadian Women's Foundation promotes inclusive leadership. What does that look like in action, and how can organizations and businesses implement it to create more equitable workplaces?
Great question. And I think Dana already started us on this in her description of her CEO and the qualities that person brought in. Inclusive leadership is rooted in wanting to see everybody engaged, thriving, and getting opportunities to pursue their goals in the space that they're in. And it isn't just about supporting a diverse team. It's about your own personal growth and journey as a leader, which requires a real commitment, an investment, and a willingness to learn and to be challenged as well, and to change yourself and how power and opportunity are structured in the spaces that you are leading in. So, what does that look like in action? It means things like welcoming and celebrating diversity, not just tolerating it. And this means being open to different ways of thinking and working and being willing to have your own assumptions challenged. The best inclusive leaders that I know are really humble people. They're always learning and they're changing as a result of their new knowledge. And who are they learning from? They're learning from the people that they are leading. They are talking and listening to the people who are closest to the challenges that they are trying to solve, because we know that lived experience is the best source of the best solutions. They are collaborative in their approach. They share power and they co-create solutions and they avoid sort of top-down decision-making structures. Now, I have to acknowledge that, a lot of us work in hierarchical spaces, right? And that's okay. I work in a corporate structure as well. Hierarchy is in a lot of things that we do. And it's not about like completely obliterating or flattening hierarchy, but it is about encouraging your team to lead within their own spheres of influence and seeing their growth as a strength and giving them opportunities to shine in the spaces that they have power over, and never to see that as a threat to your own leadership. There's a real defensiveness in our culture that when people are emerging as leaders, to kind of like, tell them to pump the brakes or to back down. And women experience that all the time. And we really need to get beyond that. And as women leaders, we can do much, much better. I think that inclusive leaders also have a very strong understanding of the difference between equality and equity. Different people need different supports to succeed, and inclusive leaders are the people who are watching for that and listening for that and are supporting their teams in that way. So, to do this, you have to commit to systemic change. You have to commit to building policies and workplace cultures and leadership pathways so that everybody on your team can thrive. And it means meeting them where they're at, right? And being curious and exploring what they need. It means investing in accessibility and inclusion, flexible work, accommodations for people who are bringing, their lived experience with them to the office, people who have different ways of thinking and being in the world. They need supports to thrive in your structures. Accommodations for disability or neurodivergence or for childcare needs or elder care needs. These shouldn't be seen as special requests. It should be part of what you're checking in with all the time with your team to find out what they need. And I think representation does absolutely matter, but it's not enough on its own, right? People need meaningful opportunities to advance. So you need to provide that for them. And I think really this is, it's important to say that this is not easy or free or cheap to do. A lot of small businesses might be saying, well, how am I going to do this stuff? I'm not resourced to do this. This is difficult. I don't have the finances. I don't have the knowledge of how to do this. But even in the smallest organizations, you can display your inclusive leadership qualities by listening to your teams and by including them in decision making. I know absolutely from a firsthand perspective how beneficial this can be. I've benefited from this kind of leadership in my career, and I strive to lead that way myself. But it doesn't happen by accident. It's really hard work. It takes intention, effort, and ongoing self-reflection to really, build that within yourself. And so mentorship is important. Look for the people around you who are displaying those qualities, learn from them, and recognize that when you are displaying those qualities, people are watching you too, because you're a leader, and that means you're modeling what it looks like, how to be transformative, and how to really build out that next generation of inclusive leaders as well.
Great. Thank you, Karen. You talked a little bit about small businesses, and the GNCC has recently released a EDI toolkit and it's great for small businesses. Go in and bookmark it into your on Google or whatever you use. I don't know if we're using Google after today that they took it off the calendar. But bookmark that so that you can continue to use those tools as small businesses, because there are tools out there. We know that this can be an issue for small businesses. So thanks for bringing that up. Dana, the gender pay gap remains persistent. From YWCA Canada's perspective, what are the biggest contributors, and what do we need to do practically to close it once and for all?
Such a good question. It's disheartening, isn't it, that in 2025, the gender pay gap is a persistent reality. And that on average, women are earning 85 cents for every dollar a man makes. And when you look at Indigenous women, that goes down to 65 cents. Black women, that number goes down to 59 cents. And it's worse at the executive levels where racialized women are making 30% of the annual salary of their male executive counterparts. 30% of the annual salary. So it is staggering. And at YWCA, we believe that everyone deserves to be paid fairly. And we affect change through advocating for systemic change, through consultations and through government relations, and advocating for solutions like pay transparency and pay equity and more. And that's really where the solutions lie. I'm heartened, as I think many of us are, by the pay transparency laws that are starting to be implemented across Canada. I think there are 4 provinces that have introduced salary disclosure requirements over the past couple of years, bringing us up now to 6 provinces nationally where that's required. And that's a great start. And companies also need to be stepping up on this front. So annual base salary reviews need to account for equity, like factors including gender. And there also needs to be bias training for the decision makers involved in that process, because our subconscious bias can have a huge impact on decisions about pay. I think the other thing practically that we can all do is talk more about money. In my experience, I learned a hard lesson in the early part of my career. It wasn't until I started talking to my colleagues about salary and negotiation that I discovered my counterpart, who I had the same qualifications and the same tenure and the same experience, was making $12,000 a year more than I was. And so I took that information and I asked for a raise, which I got. And that's the other thing, is asking for raises. If we know that women on average are earning 15% less, then we should ask for at least 15% more. And those conversations, one at a time, can begin to move the needle on this as well.
Just a point of curiosity, how did you feel going in to ask for that raise once you found out that information?
Emboldened.
Love it. Yes, that's awesome. Diana, I'm actually going to switch up the question order a little bit because I'm going to keep going down this way. So, economic empowerment and leadership often go hand in hand. What roles do governments, especially at the regional and municipal levels, play in ensuring women have equitable opportunities in both areas?
I think that governments can really participate in terms of leveling the playing field. And they can do that 2 different ways. They can do that externally in terms of programs and policies, but they can also do that through inward reflection. When I say externally, I'm just going to highlight some data specific to Niagara that you might find interesting. When you look at single parent households, it's 2 to 1 in terms of being led by a woman versus led by a man. When you consider public transportation, it is overwhelmingly being relied on by single parent families. When you look at seniors, our 85-year-old population of seniors is 4 to 1 representative of women. And of course, we all know that women are often and disproportionately affected by gender-based violence. So when you look at all of those things and know that those are all policy and program implications in terms of the availability of daycare, the housing needs, whether it's affordable or attainable, the long-term care space for our seniors, transportation options, and of course, policing, resources, and policy. All of those things you can apply a gender lens to. So having the ability to create space where those things can be looked at from that aspect really can offer a more, again, effective and efficient use of government policies and programs. And then when I say internal reflection, I think about our municipal councils and their ability to support individuals who are on council who are advocating for these things. They're often women, of course, listening to the need for those discussions and narratives to take place, perhaps creating something like a women's advisory committee. And we did that at the region last term, which I was really thrilled about and got to chair. They fill the gap where there's a lack of representation and can really apply a lens and some unique experiences that should really make those policies and programs more effective. So, but then the other part of that is what things are you supporting publicly and kind of signaling to the community that are really important for us to be a part of. So when you see events like this, and we have political leadership here, which is great, there should be more. There should be more political leadership here. And when you see things like celebrating International Women's Day with a flag raising, or perhaps supporting some type of initiative around the 16 days of activism against gender-based violence, those are all really important ways that in Niagara, I'm going to say, but of course, any municipal council can be helping to level the playing field for women's economic empowerment and leadership opportunities.
That's great. Thanks, Anna. Interesting, as you were talking, I was thinking about when Habitat for Humanity was speaking, and Nora and I looked at each other as they had said something. It was independent moms, and I thought of how amazing that shift of language just feels as somebody who has been an independent mom and raised by an independent mom. I absolutely love that language. So sometimes even just our action can be shifting language to things like a single mom or a single dad to an independent mom, an independent dad. And I think that that's a great way to just think about little things that we can do along the way too. In addition to what we were talking about, I just thought that was a really great, and it reminded me of that as you said, single mom. I was like, these are the kind of things that we can do with our language. So. I'm going to go to all panelists now. I was just going to say, I don't know where we're at in time. We have 10 minutes left, so I'm going to go back to all panelists. We are facing major shifts, economic uncertainty, rapid technological change, and climate change. How does gender equity intersect with these global challenges, and what opportunities exist for women to be at the forefront of these solutions? I'm going to start in the middle. Dana, I'll go with you, and then I'll go to Karen, and then I'll go to Diana.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, thank you for bringing in particularly the environmental element to this conversation, because these global changes, including the climate crisis, do not affect us all equally. Depending on where you live in the world, your socioeconomic status and gender is a big part of that too. And so we know, for instance, that in many parts of the world, in rural parts of the world, women and girls are responsible for traveling far distances to get water and food and firewood for their families. And you can imagine in situations of drought, the conditions are more difficult. Those walks are longer. They're further distances, and it also puts women and girls more at risk for things like gender-based violence, because we know that climate change exacerbates existing inequalities and vulnerabilities. So there is absolutely that intersection of these global challenges and how that affects gender equity, and lots of opportunity for women to be at the helm of finding those solutions. And I think a good example of that is what we see in many parts of the world, where Indigenous women are really leading the way in environmental conservation and protection, leveraging ancestral knowledge and practices that have proven effective for many generations, and are really effective stewards of the earth and the water and the people. So I think there's a lot to be learned there.
Great, thank you. Over to you, Karen.
Yeah, when I think about opportunities, I think there's lots of opportunities, like any that you can imagine, women and gender diverse people can step into. Because of the audience that's here today, I think I want to think about this in terms of business. What are the opportunities for people who are running small businesses, who are solopreneurs, who are really making things work? At the Canadian Women's Foundation over the last 2 years, we've had a real strong focus on what we talk about as feminist entrepreneurship. So it's one thing to run a business, and it's another thing entirely to run a feminist business. A feminist business is one where all those traits that I was talking about around inclusive leadership are really at the forefront. But it's also about the contributions that you're trying to make in your community as a business leader. What we've found over 30 some years of funding self-employment and entrepreneurship training programs and incubators across Canada is that many women and gender diverse people are turning to entrepreneurship and self-employment because of the very experiences of discrimination that they face in the labor market. So that can look like being pushed out of jobs because they're just not flexible enough for the lived realities that you're facing. It could be because you're experiencing harassment in your workplace and you don't want to stay there anymore. It can be that you can't even enter the job market because people don't recognize credentials that you acquired in other countries, or because your English or your French isn't strong enough, or because you are experiencing racism at the door and you're just not getting your foot in. And so, people turn to start their own businesses. And what in speaking to entrepreneurs, they're saying, hey, we don't want to replicate these systems that have pushed us out and made us feel bad, right? We don't want to do that to our staff. We don't want to do that to our employees. And in fact, we want to create businesses that are contributing to our communities. I think about the beautiful woman at the back who made the dress. Like, this is, bringing cultural elements into the Niagara community. Like, what an incredible thing to be doing. What an incredible contribution to make to the community. And that's a good example, right, of feminist entrepreneurship at work. So I say, take up space, let your values shine through. We've been developing tools and supports for feminist entrepreneurs you can find them on our website, canadianwomen.org. And in a few weeks, we're going to be launching a really excellent online course. I'll share it with the organizers to make sure you all get it. But it's for people who want to build feminist businesses, and it supports you to create a feminist business model that really reflects your values and the contributions that you're trying to make beyond the profit margin. And I hope that message resonates with a lot of the business owners in this space, and encourage you to take it up.
Thank you. Thank you. As a feminist business owner, I will definitely look at these tools. Yeah, it definitely resonates. Thank you. Over to you, Diana.
So I think you should never let disruption, or you should really view disruption as creating tremendous opportunity, right? Because it does really create an opportunity for things to change in a way probably more rapidly than what was expected. And we can look to the pandemic as an example. And I question, would we have embraced remote work opportunities the way we have if we hadn't have gone through that? I think we'd all be in an office with bums in the seat, 9 to 5, doing the same old, right? Because that's the way things were always done. So I think that, the advancements specifically that have been made around digital transformation and innovation has created a lot of amazing opportunities for women, especially in the areas of science, mathematics, technology, and innovation and engineering. We definitely need more women to be represented in those space, and especially when there's an aging labor force and population where people are quickly exiting to the point where we can't quite fill the seats quickly enough. So making sure that women also see themselves in those professional, technical, and scientific spaces are really important because they have the skills, they're capable of doing it, and they've made some tremendous accomplishments and advancements so far. So for me, it's more about acknowledging, the opportunities that are in front of us, and also, making sure that women can also see themselves in those spaces, because those are really important positions for us to move them into.
Excellent. So we have 2 minutes left, and this gets to me my Adam Grant moment. So if anybody follows him, I'm going to do rapid fire because I'm going off script here. We had the silo up that said, "What would you tell yourself?" What is something you would tell yourself? So think about, let's say, 15-year-old you. What would you say to you? Who wants to go first?
I'll go first.
Okay.
Why not? I think, what would I tell myself? I think I would tell myself, one, you have to do the work. You can't get the credit if you don't do the work. And doing things like working on a degree, taking a risk, putting yourself in a new environment that really scares you and challenging you. That's an investment in yourself, and don't ever look back from those opportunities. It is 1,000% worth it to do it. And the second thing I would tell myself is don't buy into self-limiting beliefs. You are way more capable than you may realize you think you are right now. But by taking those steps and working towards things and asking people to give you an opportunity, you will be very pleasantly rewarded. And the same is true when somebody says to you, "You're not ready for that yet. You're not quite there." I wonder how many of you have ever heard somebody say that to you. And what I learned was they were wrong. I even one of my best friends, when I told her I was running to be the regional counselor, she said, "Why don't you run for town council?" And I said, "Well, the policies are completely different. It's different level of government. They work on different things, and I'm not interested in that. I'm interested in this." And then I did the work. I put in the effort. I asked for help. Everyone showed up. I was really surprised. Everyone showed up and said, "Yes, we're behind you. Let's do this." And it worked out. So take the leap. It's definitely worth it.
Love that. Thank you. Who wants to go next?
I'll go.
Okay.
Strive for progress, not perfection. That's something that I needed to hear a lot when I was younger. Don't be so hard on yourself. I think that there's a lot, you talked about it already, Diana, like that self-limiting beliefs. We do a really good job of talking ourselves out of opportunities. And so, that why not you question, go for it, and don't be hard on yourself if it doesn't work out exactly the way you imagined. Just keep going. That's, I think, a message that I would want my young self to know.
Love that. Thank you. Dana.
Yeah, mine is similar. It would be the message of you matter, your voice matters, you have more power than you think. And even when you're scared or intimidated, or at times when you feel things are, scary, or the world is going in a place you don't like, that is the time to act. And that is the time to speak up the most. The most dangerous thing you can do is stay silent.
Thank you. Well, I will say thank you on behalf of Wing Council to have this amazing panel. I hope you enjoyed learning from them. I hope you can take some takeaways. And so thank you so much. And come chat with us after if you'd like.
So please give a big hand to our panelists. Thank you again to all our panelists. So I hope you find something that you can take away today. I know we've heard so much about championing women, and today as we leave this room, I hope, it's my prayer, that you champion women into more seats, for example, into the boardroom, be it in C-suites or even in politics. So as we wrap up this incredible International Women's Day, I want to extend a heartfelt thank you to all our panelists, Rochelle Bush, and of course, each of you for being here today. Today, we have celebrated the achievement of women, conversations that will carry over these rooms. As we recognize the challenges that remain, and more importantly, ignite action towards a more equitable future, let's carry this momentum forward, supporting, uplifting, and championing one another beyond today. Thank you for being here, and let's continue to create change together. I would like to take this moment to thank our sponsors: Niagara Regional Economic Development, First Ontario Credit Union, Pathstone Foundation, Canadian Tire Bank, Habitat for Humanity Niagara, Niagara Peninsula Energy Inc., FedCap, Niagara Penn Center, DDL & Co. Chartered Professional Accountants, Outlet Collections at Niagara, University of Niagara Falls, Hatch, TD Commercial Banking, Ontario Power Generation, Sullivan Mahoney, Innovate Niagara, 18th Street Winery, BCM Insurance, Silversmith Brewery Co., Sheraton Fallsview, Giant Shoe Creative Agency, Newstalk 610 CKTB, Your TV, Soundbox Production, 105.7 The Move. Again, thank you so much for joining me today. I actually had fun doing this, so thank you, and I hope you have a great day.
Machine when I do it. I'll be catching fire, gasoline when I do it. Just 'cause you're packing, whoop down south. That don't mean I'm ever gonna take it lying down, baby. You're the man, but I got the power. You make rain, but I make it shower. You should know I'm the one who's in control. I let you come take the win, long as you don't forget.
Who got the power?
Hold up! My turn. I make this look easy. Tick boom like gasoline. If they call me Lamborghini, 'cause I know just what I'm worth. It's 0 to 100, but my body make 'em stutter. Stop my engine, push the button, 'cause I'm gonna be coming first. Yeah, I'm a machine when I do it. I'll be catching fire, gasoline when I do it.
Who got the power? Who got the power?
Check it. When them boys talk loose and tell you power's for a king, you just play it cool and tell them power's not a thing. You look them in the eye and say, I know I'm not a guy, but see there's power in my losses and there's power in my wins. Independent woman looking shower in your bins. They call me cocoa butter Mike, you can't be powder in my skin. And you don't need to spend another hour in the gym. You know I'm blinded by his grace, but when you found me I was dim. We'll be counting down the years, yeah I'm about this. All them dirty secrets that we share, I'll clear the browsers. We the type to build on our careers and share the houses. You can be a woman and a boss and wear the trousers at the same time. that I ain't never letting go. But as long as I'm alive, then I'll be sponsoring your pride. You know there's power in the couple, let me compliment your vibe, girl.
Me.